Same. If you have goals for losing fat, there's periods of times for that. Weight loss, there's periods of times for those things. But it all comes down to what's your quality of life in the process. And I want to make sure that your quality of life is amazing, that you enjoy the process, right? You always hear enjoy the process. So why not enjoy the process of fueling your body, nourishing your body, but also pushing it past its comfort zone? So the number one thing that I often see people doing when they have these fitness goals, and whether that be building muscle or losing fat, it's often one extreme to the next. They're focused on, okay, what's gonna get me the results the fastest? Oftentimes, but not always, it comes down to cutting out a certain macronutrient. Most people are well versed in that. Protein is important for muscle, protein is important for your body's skin, energy, but we often miss the great benefits that can come from eating enough carbohydrate, enough fat, and drinking enough water, combined with enough protein on a daily basis. My number one thing here is to really focus on take an evaluation of a few days out of your typical week. What are you eating? Maybe kind of keep track of that. You can write it down, you can use Chronometer. I like that tracking app just to see where are you at right now. Give yourself like 3 days, pretty much the weekdays, and track your intake. If you can do a full week, great. That's even better, the more data you have. And this isn't to say to nitpick of like, oh, you're not doing great in this category. It just gives you a good picture of what are you actually eating. Because we think, especially women, we think we are eating a lot. But the amount we need to eat for our individual body's needs to function, to menstruate, to perform in the gym, just to feel good in our bodies for optimal hormone balance is a lot more than we actually think. I would really encourage you to look how much in grams, so grams of protein, grams of carbs, grams of fats, am I eating on a typical day? Are there any gaps in your day? Are you skipping meals frequently? Which brings me to my next point. My first point is to evaluate what are you actually eating on a day-to-day basis? Like what are you actually intaking calorically, but also what's that breakdown of your macronutrient distribution? That goes into asking yourself, do I skip meals frequently? Am I thinking that I can get by on 1 to 2 meals a day while having these goals of either building muscle and fat loss goals? But for both of those goals, you guys, you have to be eating enough. Building muscle, caloric surplus. Losing fat, eating enough, depending on your background. Maybe it's eating at maintenance for a while and then kind of going in a little calorie deficit. But you need to be eating enough. That is just the biggest thing behind it. And some of you are probably thinking, how do I know if I'm eating enough? How do I know what's good for my body? Like, how do I know if what I'm eating right now isn't just enough for my body? That's something that I would really encourage you to get guidance from a registered dietitian. Get that from a professional and get that guidance. With that, the handout that I have for you guys that you can download, it's a free download, will be helpful for that reason. You will have a tool that can help you. What are you doing right now on a typical daily basis? What are you intaking? And then taking a look, the second tip is like taking a look at your gaps in your day. Where can you improve? Are you just having coffee in the morning where you could have an opportunity to add a protein shake, make a breakfast ahead of time that has at least 25 to 30 grams of protein in it? The third tip that I have for those that are trying to get in, like have these goals, building muscle, losing fat, just feeling so much better in your body, but also having goals, right, is not to take it to the extreme. Yes, you may see results from doing extremes, but when's the last time that you had cut your carbs out? When's the last time that really made you feel super dang good 3-4 months down the road? Was it sustainable for you? Did you have more anxiety and fear of going out when you were doing those dietary restrictions? There's part of having goals in life, and aesthetic goals are okay. Physical health, for your overall health goals, having goals to be able to menstruate on a regular basis, especially for women, that's super important. It's really evaluating everything you're doing right now and not going to the extremes, and understanding how can I integrate, even if I have a super busy season in my life where, yeah, maybe sitting down to have 3 balanced meals on a balanced plate that look pretty, that look nice and balanced, just is not realistic. Maybe it's, okay, I'm gonna make a casserole that has all my macros in it, and kind of doing the breakdown, the back end work of, okay, how do I split this casserole up so that I can just put it into different containers so I can have it throughout the week, eat it quick. Burritos, shakes, those things can really help you guys in different seasons. And yes, while building a balanced plate and having those fibers and having your protein and carbs on your plate is awesome. That's what we want to strive for. Sometimes it's just not realistic for certain seasons of life and just for a few days out of the week. Give yourself some grace. Try to step back from the extremes. I know you want it tomorrow. I want it tomorrow. I would love to have my dream physique. I would love to have my dream, how I'm feeling in my body and just feeling on top of the world tomorrow. Yes, we all want that instantaneously, but it's just not realistic. I think of building a house. You have to dig the foundation. You have to set the foundation, right? You have to give it time to set. Then you start building on top of that. Then you let it settle, right? You have to let it settle. You have to let it set in. So that it's strong for everything that you are going to put onto it. The walls, the floors, moving furniture in eventually, putting things on the walls, and cleaning and making sure everything you have in there can withstand different chemicals and different cleaning chemicals, but also nurturing your home. You don't just let it get dirty and stay dirty for life, right? You clean it, you have different cleaning regimens. Maybe it's a once a week thing, daily cleaning to-do list. And so your body needs to be treated the same. It needs to be nurtured the same. You know, we're living humans. Life is going to throw curveballs and everything. That's what I would say. Those are my top 3 tips if you're feeling overwhelmed right now. If you are not reaching your goals yet this year, evaluate, what are you doing? What are you actually doing? You could go to the gym every single day, right? But it's doing workouts that literally put your body to the point where you just can hardly walk after a workout, or to that like super intense workouts every single day. And then on top of that, maybe you're not nourishing properly. Maybe it's, I do a 5 a.m. class where I'm hitting the weights, doing a lot of activity, and then I'm fasting till noon because I don't have time to eat breakfast. We all can make time, right? That's my biggest thing. And that's been a big eye-opener for my life, which I'd like to share with you, is that you definitely can make time to make an easy meal, or make time to go to the store and buy a few protein shakes that are $2 a shake. It's better than nothing at this point. If you're super busy, add it to your coffee, a protein coffee. You know, we can make time for the things that are actually important to us. And you just have to take a look at, what do you want your quality of life to be, especially in this new year. I think quality of life is so much more important to many people these days, rather than looking at go on the next diet and be miserable, and then get on another diet cycle, be miserable, and then the cycle continues. Purpose here is to teach you to take a step back, not going to the extremes. Just take a look at your weekly intake. What are you doing on a weekly basis? Write it down. Your physical activity, your NEAT, what are you doing around the house? What does your social life look like? The external stressors, tracking that food. Second is taking a look, what are the gaps in your life and how can you fill them? How can you fill up your cup in those gaps? Like, is there an opportunity to add in a snack during the day? Or you keep skipping breakfast, is there an opportunity where you can come up or find something quick that you can get in at least 25 to 30 grams of protein and right away in the morning? Third is letting go of extremes. You don't have to be okay with being mediocre or being like, oh, she's saying like you can't have goals, or like, no, I want you to have goals. I want you to strive to, especially if you have goals for building muscle. Same, if you have goals for losing fat, there's periods of times for that. Weight loss, there's periods of times for those things. But it all comes down to, what's your quality of life in the process? And I want to make sure that your quality of life is amazing, that you enjoy the process, right? You always hear enjoy the process. So why not enjoy the process of fueling your body, nourishing your body, but also pushing it past its comfort zone so that you, whatever that is for you, to feel accomplished every day or feel like you are pushing yourself and not staying in this comfort bubble. That's what you need to do without going too extreme. I hope that helped anybody struggling with their New Year's resolutions, and that you can really use these tips. And you can also go ahead and see in the description, I put a link to how you can go and download the PDF. Is going to be a macro handout. It's going to take you through step by step how to calculate your specific macros for your specific needs. I really hope that helps you out on just getting you a set baseline. Of course, always go to a registered dietitian for that advice if you're curious or wondering. I am open to questions. Please ask questions, and I really hope it helps you get a starting point at least, because there's a lot of confusing things out there on the internet these days. But I will tell you, I'm doing this for you guys. I'm doing this to help anybody out there, even if it's just one person, to find a starting point. So hope that helped, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thanks for tuning in.